Hello, everybody. My name is Jorge Salcedo,
My name is Pablo Salcedo.
both in the real estate mortgage industry. This is a listing that Pablo has, and I wanted to just basically share with you this property and kind of share with you some tips what to do when you get an open house as a buyer. And Pablo, what would you say is kind of like the top 3 questions borrowers ask when coming to an open house?
That's a great question. And for first-time home buyers or any seasoned buyers out there, when you come to an open house, talk to the listing agent. Ask them any questions, particularly about the home. But I would always ask is, how long has the property been in the market? Is there a deadline for offers? And how many offers do you have? That definitely will give you a good indication on the activity, as well as the potential if you plan to submit an offer, where you would need to be at in the mindset of being an aggressive buyer, or you have room to negotiate.
Pablo, what would you say is share some tips for buyers when submitting offers?
Well, if you want to submit an offer, it really depends on the information you have an agent representing you, what they can get from the after activity that's been happening regarding other offers to that home. So that will depend on your mindset. For example, if the property did have offers, then your mindset has to be a little more aggressive. So if your mindset is more aggressive, there's a couple of things you can definitely do to help your offer to stand out. First thing is your deposit. An increased deposit always definitely helps your offer. It does make it look like it's more aggressive. Realistically, that deposit goes towards your down payment and closing costs, so it's not like you're giving it to the sellers or anything like that. It is protected in the contract. And contingency timeframes. You have 3 main contingencies. You have your inspections, appraisal, and your loan. The one you can really control is your inspections. The sooner the better. It really helps you out. The other 2, just confirm with your lender.
To Pablo's point, if you're attending these open houses that have multiple offers, and you know that for a fact, you want to be more aggressive with your offer, but also with your deposit. Also, there are contingencies built in. You can control the inspection contingency, right? It's important. You have flexibility in terms of how many days you want each contingency to last. In a seller's market, sellers are aggressive, and they kind of dictate the terms a little bit more, unfortunately, but you still have leverage. Depending on your qualifications, your credit score, your down payment. But it's also something that I've heard, Pablo, tell me if this is correct or not, but if you have a buyer who has an agent and you're in constant communication, they're asking you questions as well. They want to have their finger on the pulse, understanding what are the seller's motivations, right? What are they trying to accomplish? Do they want to get out of the house sooner rather than later? Is there an urgency to sell the home, et cetera, and other stuff that can be uncovered if you're working with the right agent. And Pablo does a really good job when he works with his buyers on communicating with the sellers when he's the buyer's agent.
Yeah, very true. It does definitely help you to find out what the seller's intentions are. Every seller is different. Of course, every seller says they want the highest price, but not necessarily in every situation. Contingencies are important. If the seller needs to move or leave for work, relocation, etc. It definitely helps you out. If you find that out, if you could shorten your escrow time period from a 30-day, standard 30-day escrow to a 20-day or a 15-day or a 25-day. You never know. Those 5 days can make a $5,000 difference in your offer, which would definitely help out.
Yeah, and to Pablo's point, I actually just closed. I helped a buyer qualify for a loan. He bought a condo, and the house fell out of escrow. He was the 3rd buyer. So the seller was very motivated to sell the property. So he was actually able to offer something that he was happy with, not overbid. And when we did the appraisal came in a little lower, which benefited him as well. But the point is communication, right? And that's one thing that Pablo is really good at, is communicating to understand what are these opportunities in that transaction, right? And negotiating with the seller. What is the situation? Did the house fall out of escrow? How many times? To his point, motivation, urgency. These are things that an experienced realtor can identify for you quickly and put you in a better position.
Yeah, very true. Negotiation is always a key word, because just remember, there's 2 parts of negotiation. You negotiate when you submit the offer, but then also remember, if there's other offers, it could hurt you. But then again, once you get the offer accepted, you can negotiate again once you start doing your inspections, and that's more of a one-on-one in contract, which definitely can help you. For example, I just currently right now with the buyer, we had submitted an aggressive offer, got the offer accepted. The seller's in the process of moving out. We have our inspections. There is a couple of things we have to, have repair or do to the house. We were able to negotiate the price 10 grand below than what we initially offered.
Wow, nice.
So we were able to reduce that afterwards. So you do get another part. It's not always going to happen that way, but you could negotiate credits, reduction in price, or repairs. So if there is other offers, when you first submit an offer, it really depends if they have other offers, because then you want to negotiate, but you always want to make it seem like you're an easy buyer to work with to get the house. Not saying that your mindset is, I want to get a reduction later, but that is a possibility.
Yeah, it happens. Perfect example is the situation I just mentioned earlier. Buyer was a little nervous because in the end, he was going to end up with nothing left in his bank account because he had to pay for a down payment, closing costs, etc. I told him, hey, in the beginning, don't worry. We're going to be able to have a little bit more wiggle room as the process unfolds, right? Because you still have to do your appraisal, you still have to do your inspections. Anything can happen. So don't stress out too much. Obviously, it's easy for me to say because, I'm experienced and I've seen hundreds of transactions, but I know how it works. And my advice to borrowers coming from the loan side is have a good team put in place. Work with the loan officer that you trust. Work with an experienced professional realtor that you can trust. They have to work together. This is a transaction where everyone has to be on the same page and communicate. The last thing you want to do is work with someone who disappears or doesn't respond to your texts or doesn't respond to your calls. Yeah, that's not a good sign, a good indication. So something to keep in mind for you home buyers.
Yeah, it's definitely important working with someone experienced that has been through the turns and the up and downs in real estate, because they're going to get a different insight than someone that just started or someone that's, let's say, part of a team and they just joined that team and they don't know as much as their team leader in the real estate companies. It's really important that they understand that when you go to a house, they can point things out to you that you might not see or might not understand, that they can really reassure you on the investment that you're about to do.
So those are a few tips. We're here at an open house. There's more to come. Just wanted to thank you guys for your time, and we'll be back. Yeah.
Buy with confidence, sell with success.
Yeah, check out Pablo Sales. How can someone get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you? What's your website?
714-315-0704 is my cell. Go to my website, www.pablosales.com.
Got it. All right, guys.
Take care.